that the government's problem was, the states ruled themselves and the government had no power. And then the money value of that time, the merchants couldn't deny it. So they just had to take it, which made them broke.
Okay.
They started to lose their land and being thrown into debtor's prison.
Debtor's prison. Okay, so that leads to our rebellion.
The farmers that were soldiers weren't getting paid enough, so they couldn't pay off their debt. And then
So Shay's got the farmers together in rebellion.
Yeah.
Who stopped them? Remember, the U.S. Army the federal government didn't have the power for any of that.
The army.
Emma.
the militia.
Ah, a militia. It was led by a man named Lincoln, and they were hired by the Massachusetts. That's right. They had to hire someone to stop. So that showed us, is the Articles of Confederation going to work for our government?
No.
Not at all. It's too weak. If we can't stop farmers, what if Britain comes back, mentioned? Day one, today, we are going to take some notes about two major issues at the Constitutional Convention. We're not going to look at the solutions. We will be brainstorming our own solutions. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at these issues from the perspective of a specific state. And then you are going to be the delegates and arguing these two issues and trying to come up with a solution to create our government as a Constitutional Convention simulation. So you will be the delegate. So as we're taking notes today, it is really important that we're learning about these two issues, that we're really trying to build some understanding about these two issues. Now, the first issue is going to deal with representation, and I'm going to come back to these two questions in just a minute. Side note for just a second. So stop, drop, look, and listen. Thank you. Okay. Page 114 to 117 to explain equal and proportional representation and complete the chart. You use that information to answer the two questions at the bottom. Which plan would the large states first, small states prefer, and why? And then you move to your slavery document to answer 4 questions on the issue of slavery that our Constitutional Convention delegates have to work on. This first part, you're going to be allowed to work in your partners. Okay? After we go over this, we'll be putting our state groups for our debates. Okay? So you may work with your partner on this, but you need to work quickly and quietly. Okay? We have about 20 minutes to work today, and I would like you to get your notes done. If possible, chances are you're going to need about 7 to 10 minutes tomorrow to finish up. Okay? Does anyone have any questions on what you need to be working on? Caroline, you could go work with Madeline. Avery, you want to work on you? Okay. All right. Get to work. Go.
Equal representation. Each state has. It's on the page. It's on page 114.
You can read a little of the notes, read it all of the notes. That's totally up to you. It's your personal preference. Lower body.
State would be able to send the Congress. The conflict was between delegates from states with small populations and delegates from states with large populations. The small state feared that the states with larger populations would control the national government. To avoid this problem, the small states wanted each state to have the same number of representatives in Congress. This is called equal representation. Large states. The delegates from these states with larger populations.
They want every state the
Same number of.
population.
Close. Hold on. So yes. Every state has same number. Help me out there. Representatives, that's right. Okay? See, equal representation. Equal representation is what we're looking at. We're not necessarily looking at the whole thing just yet. Just equal representation. Okay, so they want everyone to be the same. Side note, y'all know that's not just a hashtag, right? It stands for the word number, so that does not say hashtag representatives. It's a number of representatives, okay? All right. Let's go with what is proportional representation. Ashton, what is proportional representation? Yeah. Right here.
Oh. The large states wanted to base the number of representatives in Congress on the number of people living in the state.
Perfect. So proportional means the number of representatives a state has is based on the population. So if you have more people, you get more. Hold on a minute. I heard money. It's not quite what we're looking for.
Votes.
Proportion. What?
Votes.
Why do you say votes? Is it from that note on the side of the board?
No.
No? Okay, well, close that.
Representation.
Representatives, which equals votes. That's why I asked, because I didn't know if you'd represent. I wanted to think they get more money. More people in. Oh, that's right. More people equals more representatives, which equals more votes. Okay, very good. Could it mean more money? Yes, I could see where, a lot of times you think more equals more money. I think some of that may be linking it to some of your math. Y'all did the math proportions and ratios and math, so I could see that. But when we're talking about representation, remember, people that represent you, they're people, it's not money. So we get more people, more representatives, okay? Kyra, what branches under the New Jersey plan? Legislative, executive, and judicial. So, is it different? Do the plans differ? No, those are the same. Now, under the articles, we only have legislative. So this is adding to the articles. It's going to add an executive, a leader, judicial, court system. So it is a revision of the articles. Not the same thing. Okay? A miracle under New Jersey, would the states have proportional or equal representation? Equal. And John, how many houses in Congress? 1. And that's how it was under the articles as well. Okay? So, as you see, there's not a whole lot of, there's some differences. The biggest difference that we're going to look at, what they fought over the most, is this issue. I must have touched the eraser. Is this issue right here. It's probably not working because I dropped it. Alright. Does anyone have any questions about this part of the two plans? Scroll down just a little bit. And let's look at this question right here. Okay? Some of y'all didn't quite get this done. You were a little confused. So I want to look at it, give you a minute to answer in case you didn't. Alright? So, which plan would large states prefer between the New Jersey and the Virginia plan? Hold on. Which state would small states prefer and why? Remember, on terms of large states and small states, are we talking about their geographic size? So what do we mean large and small?
Like how number of people in
Their population, the number of people within their state.
20 years before anything could be done.
20 years before it could be done. All right. The two major issues, representation based on population or equality, and slavery. Should we count them towards population or not? This is how we're going to do it. We have this worksheet. I'm going to explain to you. Then you're going to be assigned your state and you're going to get to work. You are going to work on these questions to prepare your arguments for tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have our Constitutional Convention simulation where you will argue your state's position on should we have the Virginia or the New Jersey plan, should slaves count or not. Now, we have to create a government either way. So after your group, after your state deals with how you see these issues, we need to start seeing, can we come up with any ideas to solve the differences between them? Because if we stay Virginia, no New Jersey, no Virginia, no New Jersey, we're never going to create a government. So can your state come up with any ideas on how to solve the issues between the two groups? That's the second part of the assignment for today. You're going to answer your questions, and can you come up with any solution on state during these proceedings? Our purpose is to discuss the defects found in our current government under the Articles of Confederation. Your input is not only desired but necessary so that we can guarantee life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to all Americans. I ask you to remember what is said in these meetings is to be held in the strictest of confidence. We don't want everybody knowing what we're saying. Because if the outside world finds out about our arguments when we present them with this government, they might say, we know y'all disagreed about this. We're not going to support it. Y'all didn't even agree on this. And we need everybody to support it. So we're going to keep the outside world out of our arguments. What state do you represent? Total population, slave population. And here's some questions. These questions will help you prepare your debates. You will have to tell me your state's position. Virginia plan, New Jersey plan, why? Slavery, should it be counted towards the population or not? And why? But that's not the only thing we're looking at. How should the Constitution address the issue of slavery? So you're basically, we're looking at, should we count them? You could say, if you're a northern state and you look at your numbers and you don't have any slaves, you could say, well, personally, Massachusetts feels that we should abolish slavery, but we know we can't. You can look at, no, it's our state's rights. Our southern economy depends on it. Look at it from the point of view of your state. And then should they be counted? Down here, how does your state feel about the issue of representation? What we mean about that. Does your state feel like the more people you have, because you have more people, you should have more of a voice? Does your state feel like, everybody's equal? So it doesn't matter that we have more people. Our state's just as important. There's several different ways to look at that question. How does your state, but remember, are you thinking about your opinions? Are we looking at this from our opinion?
No.
You will be assigned a state and you're looking from your state's perspective. How we're going to do it? Okay, numbers.
Okay.
All right. Once everybody draws, I will call each state. Y'all can start working on your arguments. And then I will call you one at a time to get your official state nameplate so you can feel official. Okay? All right. So once you draw your number, that's who you got. You may start working. We have a debate starting tomorrow, so you want to be prepared.
Are we allowed to
Number 12. Who's your number 12?
Hate slavery in this state.
Virginia. North. Why are you looking at Delaware? You are New Hampshire.
We have a large population.
What's your state?
I think we're a pretty large state.
Oh, population. Wait, are we counting slaves? Oh.
Pennsylvania.
We're sort of
in between because we're a small state, we're less than 250,000, so we prefer the New Jersey plan. But if we're allowed to count our slaves, then we would want to do the Virginia plan because we have a lot of slaves because we live in a southern state which requires all slaves to be.
We're ready to decide because they are a small state according to the population. However, the other issue on the table, whether to count slaves in them or not, would change their position. So, South Carolina, if you had to make a decision right now, not knowing the slavery issue, we're just going to table that discussion for later. Which plan would you have to prefer if you had to choose right now?
The New Jersey
The New Jersey plan. Thank you. Would the delegates from New Hampshire please share their thoughts on the New Jersey and the Virginia plan?
We would prefer the New Jersey plan because we have less than 250,000 people, making us a smaller state, so we'd like to have equal representation.
Very good. The delegates from North Carolina, please.
We prefer the Virginia plan because we're a larger state. And even if we do count our slaves, we would still prefer the Virginia plan because that will make us more controlling because we have a very large number of slaves and we have a very large number of population.
Very good. Thank you very much. Delegates from Maryland, what are your thoughts on how we should be represented in the government?
We want the Virginia plan because, of course, we have more people, but it might not be necessarily bad for the small states if we do get it, because if we agree with them, if we're on their side, then we have a lot of reps, then we could actually be helping them a lot. And we also want the Virginia plan because Shays Rebellion shows how weak the Articles of Confederation is, and how if you don't, you need strength for the national government, and the New Jersey plan is just revising the Articles of Confederation. The states are still weak.
It's just giving the larger states or people who don't like the articles that the New Jersey plan is just putting it back together, then there would have to be more rebellion.
Delaware.
We chose the New Jersey plan because we are a smaller state. With or without slaves, we still were under 2,000.
Why do you believe you deserve to have an equal say in the government? You have less people.
Well, because we're still a state, and nobody else owns us. So we have
I like that idea.
Our state has a population of under 250,000, and counting slaves, we would still have under 250,000. So we prefer the New Jersey plan because we want an equal representation.
Great job.
We have an equal representation in the national government, and because we're a small.
Overwhelming vote for one plan or the other. Don't just shout out, delegates. It gets crazy. Delegates from Virginia, how many states support your plan?
6.
Delegates from New Jersey, how many states support your plan? We have 6 and 6. So, what I will do is I will open the floor for suggestions. We have to create a new national government. We cannot leave our country in limbo. If Britain finds out, they might come back. We have to create a government. It's our job to do so. Maryland, the delegates from Maryland.
We say that we would count a certain amount of our slaves.
Not slaves, honey. New Jersey and Virginia.
Well, I say that we maybe can combine them. We keep at least the part of the Virginia plan where the national government has a strong power, because Shays Rebellion happened because they didn't have a strong power. So I say we at least keep that part of the Virginia plan.
All right. So
I think we should just stay with the New Jersey plan because if every state has equal representation, then the votes will come out more fair because they'll be the best option.
all right, that's another good thought to have.
Because if we do New Jersey plan, we will have equal representation. But what if we need something? What if we have a tie between both, and we need a vote to split it? So we need to go with the Virginia plan, but I do agree with Maryland how we should combine both plans because some of the New Jersey plan is good and and the Virginia plan is good, like how it's strong.
Maryland, and I think that, so what we should do with the, New Jersey and Virginia plan, I think we should tell Rhode Island to get over here and give us their vote.
Oh, you are so correct. So we are missing one state. We are tied. That is an option. We can request that Rhode Island send a delegation, even though they've already denied our request.
We agree with a few of the states. We agree with Maryland because we think that the national government should have more power, but we agree with New Hampshire about the equal representation. So we think that the government, we should come up with sort of like a compromise somehow on the two plans.
I think that the Virginia plan should be our main source of the government, just because the government has more power, and that if we have a mix of it, then we would have part of the Articles of Confederation in our plan. And we don't want that again, because if we have that in our government still, we just have another rebellion going, and we want to prevent that from happening.
We don't, I guess, support either one. We're gonna have a compromise.
Okay.
Both of them.
What compromise do you suggest?
So we propose a two-house legislature having a Senate and a House of Representatives. The Senate would have an equal representation from each state, and that would satisfy the states with smaller populations, so it's not becoming a problem. And the House of Representatives would include one representative for each 30,000 individuals in a state, so the representation would be proportional to states' populations. And this would please also state parties.
We'll compromise.
I'm on
Wanted the Virginia plan because they would have proportional representation, and since they had more people, they would have more power. And the small states wanted the New Jersey plan because they were small and would still have equal representation.
Very good. Grace, how did the two groups solve the problem? How did we solve the problem between large states and small states?
We have the great compromise with federal, both the southern and northern states.
Southern and northern, or large and small?
Large and small.
Okay. How did the Great Compromise settle the issue? How? We know the Great Compromise did settle the issue. How did it settle? Carmen?
It settled the issue because part of the people wanted equal representation and the other part wanted proportional representation. And with this plan, there were two houses and one house was proportional. One was proportional and the other was equal, so it helped both sides.
Perfect. What was the difference between the two groups over the issue of slavery?
Well, usually the southern states preferred slavery because they were based on agricultural needs and stuff. But the northern states did not depend on slavery because there was like merchants and stuff.
Very good. What was the issue between the two groups? We know that the North does not use slavery and the economy in the South does. Charlie, what was the issue that they were discussing over representation and slaves?
To count them, or to count them for population.
Who wanted to count them?
The southern states and the northern did not.
Very good. And the 3/5 compromise, how did that solve the problem? Calvin?
They solved the problem by the North allowed them to count it in 3/5, so they would multiply their slave population by 3/5, and then divide it by 5, and then add it to their population.
Okay. So allow them to count some, but not all. Zaylin, how important is it for people that represent the states in creating a government to be able to compromise?
For them to be able to compromise, if they don't compromise, they won't be able to get anything done. So if they do compromise, they could come to one agreement and be able to get what they're trying to achieve done.
Perfect. Good answer. All right. So we didn't just learn about these events. You had to be the states. First 2 days we took notes and went over the notes before you had to look at the perspective. How did taking the role of the state force you to look at this issue differently from when you took notes? Courtney.
We actually got to experience like sort of what was happening instead of just looking at words and trying to sort of memorize it a little bit.
Okay, very good. Carmen.
When we were looking at notes, you sort of felt how you felt nowadays and how the system is nowadays, but when you're actually pretending to be the state, you have to look at it from the state's perspective and what's better for your state.
Very good. I love that. Allison.
We, instead of like learning a paragraph or what other teachers would have done to us, we got to actually be into the action. We got to be into what used to be our history.
Okay, very good. So did doing this simulation change any of your opinions from when you went in the beginning? And it may not have, especially we know on the issue of slavery, no, what we came in with, no, we still think that's wrong. But in terms of maybe how you thought representation, a lot of y'all when we first talked about this, said everyone should just be equal. Everyone gets the same vote. And now that we know we have both after doing this simulation, how did that change your opinion or perspective on that? Sierra?
I never really thought that you could make two laws and combine them and create a huge, strong, but equal government. So it was kind of like a mind-blowing thing for me.
Definitely. I mean, especially we have a hard time seeing compromise today. We have a hard time seeing compromise in our government, and let's face it, we're teenagers. We don't want to compromise. We want to do what we want, and that's it. Calvin.
At first, I thought we should have like equal government, but then after doing it, I seen the problems that it would have, and I'm kind of glad that we had compromised.
Same.
I agree with Calvin because like if we all have the same, if we're all equal, there won't be any power and everything just be chaos. And so, being able to have a proportional government, the government will be able to have power over the citizens.
Perfect. Now, matter because we're going to have proportional representation. When we come back from Thanksgiving break, we're going to dig into what was created at the convention. Now you know how the convention went down. You know that there was different ideas. They made compromises. We've created the legislative branch. We've created a strong government. When we get back from Thanksgiving break, we're going to start digging into the Constitution, what these men created, what they formed our government, and the different pieces that we still have today. Does anyone have any last questions or comments before we're done with this assignment? All right, last note, make sure you have all your questions for this activity done. That way you get all your points because you guys did a really fantastic job this week. Thank you.